Thank you, Skip.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Charles Stewart, hi. Yesterday or today, I mailed out documents to most of you. I was
got it.
wondering if you all received them. I've
did.
got a few extra
Yes, we
copies.
got them.
You got them? Okay, very good.
Move that microphone a little closer. Or you move
Sure,
closer.
sure. Thank you. Is that good? Okay, there. I can hear the feedback. Yes. I'm really glad to be here and see y'all. I'm sorry Ms. Schrader is not with us. Constitutional history for Oregon and Clackamas County is recognized in statute that at some point in the past, Clackamas County was previously a county court, but it had been converted to the county commissioner's form of governing, and that's the incarnation you all are presently functioning under. But at the same time, statutes recognize that the duties of the county court have been transferred to the county commissioners, and I'd like to invite Attorney Madcour to also, we've talked a little bit about these issues before too, and I hope any of you will feel free to correct me if I err in anything that I'm saying here. But yes, the duties of the county court were transferred to the commissioners. Statutes recognize, I believe, and that tends to indicate that things like another statute would indicate that how the county court should be functioning tends to indicate that judicial business will be prioritized over normal civil municipal county business, and that means that things like discussions like this concerning the administration of justice, they should take precedence over all other concerns. Because remember, in our constitutional system, justice is prioritized right at the top in the preamble of state and national constitutions, and the whole plan of federalism is engineered around the decentralization of the judicial power. Okay, down to local communities. That was the original plan. In New England, that's how the counties are organized into smaller townships and precincts, and they have their own judges, or at least in times past. And Oregon statutes and constitution still recognize that justices of the peace have judicial functions, and that justices of the peace can work in every precinct. There's references that link the precincts. There's like 120 precincts in Clackamas County, and those have judicial powers. I believe an argument can be made solidly for that.
Go ahead.
Thank you. To dovetail into the nature of the emergency, the circuit courts that have assumed the duties of the administration of justice, and thereby freeing you to focus on civil municipal governing duties, the judges in the civil municipal courts, I believe we can prove by due process of law that they're under the influence, they're being coerced by a powerfully organized criminal syndicate, yes, that is obstructing the rights of the people to access those courts in the open manners described in Article 1, Section 10 of Oregon's Constitution, which you all have taken an oath to uphold. Okay, see, the administration of justice in open and public manners is constitutionally prioritized, and it's not being followed. And things like the water problems and things like that, a lot of these problems, I dare say all of them, can be remedied if proper administration of justice is being followed. But unfortunately, there's powerful dark interests in this world. You witness the war in Iraq and the terrorism and everything. There is evil on this planet. And I dare say it's influencing the judiciary in Clackamas County in an unlawful manner. And I dare say it's influencing the judiciary in Clackamas County and unlawful, you know, there's differences of opinion, and somebody Somebody's in error in their interpretation of law, and due process of law decides which person is in error and which person is righteous and deserves the lawful judicial remedy. And I believe, especially yourself, Commissioner Ludlow, I believe you have duties of the county chair to act as the judge of Clackamas County. I believe that's, I think I touched on that with Attorney Madcore, pardon me. And so the onus, I believe, devolves to you. And there's also the issue of a modest economic donation that we've included in our documents here.
$2 billion, thank you.
Yeah, well, I do hope that the merits of the legal issues involved therein are taken seriously.
Okay, I've given you a lot of extra time, Charles, and I appreciate that. You know, after reading, not all, but some of what you sent out, including the check for $2 billion that I couldn't find a routing code on it, or by golly, I would have hammered it by now. But I read some of that, and it seems like you do know your Constitution. However, I have discussed this with Mr. Madcore, and he feels rather certain that the presiding judge down on Main Street in Oregon City actually administers justice, and he has certainly passed that around to his other judges. And there's a DA down there too, and they do their job, and our job is completely separate of that. And I don't believe that, I think you said in there that I can be discharged for office for not paying attention to what you were doing. I've actually got my doubts about that. But we have to rely on our legal advice, and we should, because we pay for it and we need it. And thus far, I think we've been operating as a county as the way we should, and I don't think we have some of the license that you claim in your documents that we do have. Commissioner, Savas, sorry, missing the label here.
Yeah, I don't have a red light today, I got a blue light.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles, for your comments today, and I appreciate the phone call. You called me about a week or two ago, we had a conversation, and I followed up with Mr. Madcore, and in turn had him on my behalf send you email citing the statute 3.130, which back when that was passed conveyed the judicial jurisdiction and authority and powers to the judicial system and away from the county. And it was cited in that legislation which counties: Baker County, Clackamas County, Columbia, Coos, Douglas, Jackson, Josephine, Klamath, Lake, Lane, Marion, and Tillamook. And there are counties out there today that still have the old system and actually have the chair of the commission in some of those counties is a judge.
Yeah.
And they actually go and they are schooled and learn and actually decide cases.
They won't let me do that.
I did get your packet today. I came in my office this afternoon and saw your thick packet, and I've read a lot of your stuff. I haven't read all of it, and I haven't read the packet that I got in the mail today, but I will read that. But I would, you know, if there's a case, in essence, or standing of an example of a county in which your argument has been successful, I'd sure like to know it. But I would say that if you're trying to make that case, that any county cited in subsection A, other than those counties, would maybe be the ideal place to make your case as opposed to Clackamas because of that specific citing. So I will, again, I'll read your material and see if I can follow all of that, and I'll consult with Mr. Madcore as to what the emergency claim is, and try to understand it as best I can. I mean, I believe we all want to follow the Constitution. We all want to do what we think our responsibility is. So I don't think there's any effort on our part to subvert any kind of justice or anything like that. So I will study it even further. But if you can cite someone or something or some county where that example has been played out, or somewhere in the nation where that's been played out, I'd appreciate it. Some examples.
I'll do my best. This is quite innovative from what is fashionable, and I don't think, to be honest with you, that there's many others that are moving in this direction. But I believe it's a necessity. The economic situation in the country and things are in precarious situations, and we need to look at all the options. And in pursuit thereof, just briefly, I'd like to know if possible, is the entity of the county court for Clackamas County, is that in existence or is that completely gone?
Justice
I'm going to let Mr. Madcore answer that one.
Mr. Madgo?
It's been abolished by the statute that Commissioner Savis referred to as ORS
130.
3.130, correct. It's, our judicial function is vested with the circuit court. The legislative and executive function is vested with the governing body, which is the form of county commissioners.
So you all are not claiming any judicial authority whatsoever then?
I think we can unanimously agree with that.
Okay. At that point, it looks like the office of county judge is vacant, is that correct?
The office of county judge is vacant?
Yes.
Mr. Madcore?
There is no position.
I don't believe we have a position of county judge. We have county commissioners. That's what I'm trying to convey. Yeah, we have circuit court judges and we have county commissioners.
Can you comment, with all due respect, sir, on the statute that indicates that the duties of the county judge and the county court have been transferred to the commissioners?
Again, that's the
no.
ORS 3.130. And I've cited that to you in the past, Mr. Stewart, as well.
You know, there's an exemption in that citation there. I believe I responded by email there. I don't think you addressed the issue of the exemption and whether or not that causes the judicial power to still be vested with the commissioners, as the other part of the statutes say.
I'm not aware of the exemption.
I responded to you in
Mr.
email 2 days
Charles,
ago.
I'm not going to let a back and forth continue to occur with our county council, but I will tell you that I believe, and I believe the commissioners will back me up on this, we are not qualified for and we do not want to act as judges. Now, we haven't a tough enough time doing what we do without adding that to our list. So we're very fine with it, the way it functions currently, and we feel it's backed up in law. So if you like Paul said, Commissioner Savis, if you found where this has worked somewhere else, we'd be very interested in how that all came to be. But we're going to continue going on like we've been doing for 100 years plus.
If you're not interested in the quality of justice in this county, then the people have the right to displace or to replace with people that are concerned about administration.
And that
justice.
happens every time we go up for election, Charles.
No, that's not judicial process, sir.
Well, no, that's probably the most pure process. It's when people get to vote for us or not.
People are supposed to be voting in their constitutional precincts, and those have been neglected. They've been taken over by the polarity between the Democratic and Republican Party. There's supposed to be consensus at the precinct level, and instead of that polarity through the Democrats and Republicans that's dividing and conquering our people, sir.
You're entitled to your opinion, and you stated it very well. Thank you.
Yes.
And now